Welcome back to a weekly Forexcast. All right, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks since I've actually done one. Want to get back into the groove of things, and let's see how things are looking this week. All right, well, starting with the dollar index as always, we can see that the dollar index has been bullish. It's been bullish really from this low, from this area of demand. All right, this big double bottom. Price has been creating these higher highs and higher lows. All right. And the way that last week ended, it's looking like dollar is still going to continue bullish. So if we see here on the weekly chart, this weekly candle is going to close with the bullish engulfing, also breaking structure, creating another higher high. Because you see how price continued to the upside. If we always look to the left to go right, price broke above the structure, breaking above the structure here. All right, we broke above structure, came back, retested it, and continued up. All right. So now you see prices now forming another higher high here. So from a weekly perspective, I'm anticipating the dollar to eventually roll back up towards 102. All right. Really anywhere from 100, 100.5 or so to 102 top of supply. All right. So coming into this week, we see that we do got the higher high made right here. All right. This was the breakdown, the retest, continuation, breaking structure, forming a higher high. So we could see price come back first and retest. All right. But overall, I would still like to see, I'm still looking for potential bullish waves on the dollar index. All right. So we'll see how some of these dollar pairs align to that. All right. So looking at GU is still very much bearish. All right. This is something I was giving out. I was anticipating a continued drop on this. So if we look at this, looking at it on from a weekly perspective, we can see that price has been in this downtrend, right? Price has been creating these lower lows or lower highs and lower lows, right? Major lower highs and lower lows of structure. So if we always look to the left to go right, it's clear, you always, once you get a break of structure, you're usually going to get some type of pullback or retest after that. So if we look to the left, you see this major break right here. Price had a break below this structure, right? Forming a lower low, breaking below structure demand or support. If we look to the left also, this was a major level, right, of supply in the past. All right, that also turned support before. All right, so this is a major level of structure we pay attention to. So once it broke that, now you look for some type of pullback or retest, which happened here, and it continued to roll over. All right, so it's important to be patient on some of these pullbacks, some of these retests, because when GU was making its way up here, it started looking like, oh, it could possibly break back above structure. But you see price rolled right back below structure, pull back for the retest and continue. So this was something that I sent out as well. I sent this out. You could check the Telegram, the free Telegram. If you're in VIP, you saw this as well. This was a signal that was given out as well. I was anticipating on this pullback. We can see right here. Right here, price broke down structure. It broke down from structure, the structure retest. This could have been like, you know what? Okay, price broke above structure. And now if it would have came back and retest and found support, then it could have continued from there. But once price came down and rolled over, breaking structure, that's the sign that price is going to continue to the downside. So now you wait for some type of pullback or some type of retest, and then you roll from there. And it's not a coincidence. You see where price pulled back to. If we look at this, you could look at this area of interest right here, this area of value. This was like around the last green candle really on this pullback before price broke down here. So that's the level you look at. Price basically came back and retested in that area right here, formed like a shooting star, broke down, kind of ranged a bit, pulled back again, nice bearish engulfing, and then continue. So around this area was a perfect area to look for your retest entry there. All right. And you could have just rolled this back down to support, looking to the left. Nice risk to reward right there. All right. About 144 pips. So price reached the target I was anticipating, which is 1.30. All right. So now that we reached there, we're going to see what can we possibly be looking for this week. So now what I'm going to do right here, if you look at it right here, it doesn't look like it broke structure, because what you look for is like, okay, if price breaks structure, then that's a sign that we could go even lower. Right here, you see prices finding some type of rejection. But if we go to the 1 hour, technically you can see price close below structure. If you look to the left, this is the structure low support. So right here on the 1 hour, we see this candlestick, this body closed below. So that is technically a break of structure. So my bias is still bearish to the downside. It's just a matter of where we want to pull back to for us to get our potential entry. So I would look at this area of value here, right? This is like around the last candle or bearish or bullish candle before price rolled over, right? This is like our order, what some will call an order block, our area of value where price found its resistance or its top before rolling over. So this is a point that I would look for a potential retest entry here. Price could come up, retest around here, reject, and we look for the potential continuation to the downside. All right. Now, if price was to come up here and not hold and break above structure, then it possibly can go higher before it even continues. All right. Either somewhere in here, right? Either somewhere in here can be your next point. All right. When price could come up a little higher, right? Like somewhere in here, possibly reject there and then get your continuation. That's another area, right? And then, of course, this is the main. I would look at this as like our main target area for a retest. So it really just depends on how price react once it comes around these levels. But overall, I'm anticipating or I'm looking for that continued breakdown. All right, because I also could look at my fib. All right, I could take my fib from this swing high from where price found the top, roll down. All right, so roughly in here is roughly around 38.2. The next point of structure is around a 61.8. All right. So overall, we're just looking for that retest and that continuation to the downside. All right. So that's the all USD. So if we look at AU, as long as with going in line with the dollar strength, AU also had a strong rejection. But looking to the left, where price rejected from was this previous level of structure support that became resistance on the break and retest there, continue down. So price came to this level, had a strong wick rejection to that level. And you see this weekly candle is like a strong, like a shooting star pin bar type rejection with a huge wick. So that typically is a sign, especially seeing out on a higher time frame. You know, if you've been following me for a minute, you know I trade primarily based off the higher time frame, and then we could work our way down to the smaller time frame for our entry. But the higher time frame is going to give us the biggest indication of where prices, the bigger moves are headed. So this is looking like it could be setting up for a top to give us a strong rollover. All right. So now, if I go down to the daily, all right, looking to the left, price came to that level of structure. You see around roughly around here, this level of structure where it had a top and it had that's the same strong rejection that we got there. All right. So in the daily, first we got this shooting star rejection. All right, which is a sign. If you see that on the daily, that's an indication that the sellers are coming in. Then we got the bearish engulfing and price continued to roll over. All right. So if we look at where it rolled over at, we broke structure. Looking to the left, previous structure support, price broke that. So now typically we'll look for some type of pullback or retest before we get that continuation. So that's what I would be looking for on AU. Now, if we look to the left, right, you see that was a previous level of support. Also in the past, it became a level of supply right there. Also here, a level of supply or resistance. So we could get a potential retest here for something similar. All right, so if we're going down to like the 1 hour, you can see now price is pulling up in these levels for a potential retest. All right, so if I look at this here, somewhere in here will be an ideal retest, right? Look for the potential retest and a continuation to the downside. So that would be what I'll be looking for in AU. If it doesn't hold around these levels of a retest, right, then price could possibly go, if it breaks above this level, you know, possibly can go higher, right? But you want to be careful because sometimes price could give a false breakout and then roll over. So we'll see how price react. Also, this week is a fundamental heavy week. It's a lot of economic events. You see Tuesday, we got the interest rates for NZD, CPI for USD. I believe we have some Australian dollar. Yeah, unemployment rate, employment change on Wednesday. So we could see some volume coming in the odd. CPI for Great British Pound. We also have rate statements for the Canadian dollar. All right, so it's going to be fundamentals, you know, some strong fundamentals coming in. retail sales, ECB conference for Euro, refinancing, policy rate statements and things like that. So this could be a high volume week, the way it's looking like. All right. But overall, I follow the technicals, and usually the fundamentals is just going to give us that volume or that acceleration we like to see. All right. So that's AU looking for the potential retest continuation. Euro USD. All right. This was another pair been heavy on the watch list, and you can see price did everything. It's been in this downtrend, right? So if we look at the weekly, the way this weekly candle is closing strong bearish engulfing. So we could potentially have more room to the downside, but looking to the left, we are at a major level of demand right here, right? It's a major level. So this is a level you want to pay attention to for potential moves away from this level. Because we look at the daily, price is found in support, right? And you can see it's starting to reject this area a bit, right? Looking to the left, where price had a bounce. Price is starting to reject this level, the same level. All right. So if we look at it based off of that, and a lot of this do have to do with what the dollar is going to do too, because if the dollar continues strong bullish, it's likely we're going to see EU, break this level and continue to the downside. All right. So I would say either wait for some type of, break of structure and then possibly catch a retest. All right. Or you can look for price on a potential pullback first. So you see like around, let's say like around here, right? Price broke this level of structure, retested for continuation, right? So seeing something like this is where you look for your entries, because price had the first retest of this level here, pulled away. Then we had another retest, a nice pin bar rejection. You start looking for your entries on price actions like this. All right, stop above the retest, and you see price came back down towards these levels. All right. So now if we're looking for sales, price could pull up. It could pull up, possibly retest this same level. If it gives you some type of rejection, then I would say look for shorts again. All right. But if price holds at this level of demand on the bottom and breaks structure, starts to break previous lower high structure, then we could potentially look for that continuation to the upside. So we just have to wait to see how price develop, to see what price want to show us. All right. And then we'll just go from there. All right, NZD USD. So looking at NU, all right, looking at this on a weekly, price has been in this downtrend. Like we can see price structure, right? From this high, formed a lower low. This is a lower high, right? Lower high, lower low. So this could potentially be pulled up to create another potential lower high before giving us another wave down. And if the dollar is going to continue strong and bullish, it's likely that we're going to see NU, right, roll over here. All right, that's a big possibility, especially if the dollar is going to override with the strength. All right, so you see the way this weekly candle closed, strong bearish shooting star type candle. All right, so if we go down to the daily, and first and foremost, let's look over to the left. Always look left to go right. So look to the left. This was a major level where price is at now. It was a strong level of support or demand in the past. Once it broke, it became resistance. All right. And you see here, it became support again here. Once it broke, it became a retest of resistance. So this is a key level of structure. So if price breaks below here, if we break this structure, oh yeah, chances are we're going to go even further to the downside. So now you just look for those pullbacks, possibly a retest, and you look to catch that continuation to the downside. So that's one way I would look. I would look for the more of the breaker structure, pullback or retest, and then catch it. All right. Or if we look at it like this, all right, we go to the smaller time frame. All right, let's say we look at this on, let's say the 4 hour real quick. Technically, price broke some structure here. If we look to the left, price has been in the uptrend. So from here, so this is a higher low, higher low, higher low, right? Higher low. So if we look here, price broke these previous higher low structures to the left with this break. This was a break of structure. Okay. So looking at it from that perspective, all right, get rid of some of this real quick. If we look at it from that perspective, you can look for a slight pullback possibly, and then a continuation down before you get the full break of structure. That's a potential opportunity you can look for. So if you take let's say we take a counter trend line here. All right, let's go down to the 1 hour real quick. So you can see this is you can look at this. as being our base for where price had another extension down, right? So some type of pullback. Price want to pull back maybe roughly into these levels and form some type of lower high, as you see here on this smaller time frame. Then we could catch the potential continuation from there before price break structure. So that can be even better risk to reward, because if we look at this, price did break structure looking to the left. So this could be a slight pullback and a continuation down. So that's a potential entry there. All right. Or you can just wait. If you catch it there, you get this to be a nice swing setup. All right. Because there'll be something like this. It'll be something like this, like on a rejection here, entries, stop loss above structure. All right. Really, I would like to see it be above this daily candle, right? Right there. And then this could come all the way back down here. This could come all the way back down here. So this would be a good risk to reward. Risking 30 pips. All right. Anywhere, right? Even if you just catch it around here, around these structure support, that's still like a 1 to 4 risk to reward. So if you catch it on that pullback and price hold, that's a great risk to reward. All right. Or you can just wait for the breakdown of structure. All right. Break down the structure, catch a pullback or a retest, and then look for that continuation down. All right. So that's NZD/USD. All JPY. All right. So looking at AJ. All right. If we look at this on the weekly, price has been in a major uptrend, right? Major uptrend. But if we look at this, where price is at now, it's roughly around this point, this resistance is at this resistance level. All right. So if we look to the left, this was a major top right here. The price broke down, retested right here. That was a major top before price had a big move to the downside. So that's roughly where we're at now. All right. And around that level, you see price had a strong wick rejections through that level. All right. So if we look at the top, all right, price made a rejection here. Now this was a pullback to that level and it started rejecting that top again. All right. So if I look at this on a smaller time frame, like the 4-hour, you can see real quick, like I said right here, price had a nice impulse from this area of supply, right? Nice impulse here. So seeing that, that's the firm breakdown, right? This was our nice top resistance, right? When price came back to retest that, had a strong impulse rejection away, all right? And seeing this type of rejection, whether it's on the 4-hour, even on a smaller time frame, like the 1-hour, you can see a nice firm break below here, right? As you can expect really a bigger move down here. You can, like, I'm looking for this to come back down towards 91. All right. But if you're not in on that breakdown, right, you can also take a counter trend line here. If you're not in on that breakdown, we want to look for some type of pullback, right? Because you see right here, price had a strong impulse of breakdown, slight pullback, and then continued also breaking my trend line here, right? So now where price is roughly at, it's at a level where I want to see one or two things is going to happen here. So if we look around here, right, price is either going to hold support and give us one more deeper pullback before we get that continuation down, because overall I'm gonna be looking for sales here, right? Either that, look for more of a pullback before you get that pull down, or if price continues to break down here, break structure, that's a higher low structure. If it breaks that, look for a pullback, possibly a retest, and then get that continuation down. All right. But overall this week, I'm looking for sales on AJ. GBPJPY. So if we look at GJ on the daily, the weekly, price has been in an uptrend. All right. JPY has been weak all across the board. All right. If we look at where price revisited, this is the top that it made 2016. And when Brexit came, boom, had that big drop. Right. So the psychological level around 164, you can see that price on the weekly had a strong wick pin bar rejection through that level. All right. If we go down to the daily, shooting star rejection, strong rejection, our price is pulling back. So overall, I do believe this is just a correction before we get another wave down. It's just a matter of when. All right, when that want to happen. All right. So if I look in the shift, if I look at how GJ is moving right here, let's say I look on a 1 hour right here. All right. You can see price actually had a breakdown of structure or had a shift in price. All right. What if I look at it from there? Or let's take it from here on a 1 hour. Let's take it tighter. Boom. So you can see price has been making these higher highs, right? In this uptrend. It's been in this uptrend. So when I take this trend line like I did, you can see price did have a shift in price. It had a shift showing a sign of reversal, breaking structure and breaking higher low structures. Now, I believe this is just a deeper corrective move. This whole move right here is moving corrective. I believe it's just a big corrective channel before we get that bigger move or continuation to the downside. All right, so it's just a matter of if price wants to price could still possibly, revisit these highs towards these highs before that drop happens. All right, so it's just interesting to see how it's going to happen. Right here, price is ranging right now. All right, so really, this is what I would look for. I would need to see a break of this range in either direction. All right, so if price breaks the range to the upside, creates a higher high, then I would look for a pullback, possibly a retest, and then you can catch that continuation up before price get any more sales. All right. Or price could break the range to the downside. If it was to break the range here, breaking structure, then catch the pullback and continuation down. All right. So for even stronger confirmation, the price comes down and breaks higher low structure here, like breaks this structure to the left, right? For a bigger daily shift in price, then chances are we're going to get an even bigger move down. All right. So just got to be patient what price shows us next. Because right now, price is still corrective to the upside. So we just had to see what direction price want to show his hand in, and we'll just trade in line with that. All right, so that's DJ. CAD JPY. So a lot of these JPY pairs are at major levels, major tops. All right, the highest has been in some years. So if we look to the left on CJ, all right, this is at a level. This is the top where the top before price had that big move to the downside. So I have that zone drawn in. Price revisited that. And you see even here on a weekly, you had a wick rejection from that level. All right. So it's already showing signs of price want to roll over from this top. Okay. So if we look at this on the 4 hour, this was the top. Boom. Price found the top, had a move away, a nice move away. So now price is just correcting, I believe, before we get another move. Okay. So if we look at this, let's go to the 1 hour real quick so we can see clear. All right. When price found a move away, this is a level of interest that I would look at before, because this is once price had a move down here, price pulled back some, and then this was the top before price had continued break down the structure. All right, making that move down. So I would look at this area for a potential retest for continuation down. So price did come up here, and it did have a move away. All right, it had a move away there. So this could be forming a lower high shift for us to get the continuation to the downside. So going into this week, this is something I would look for on CAD JPY. I would look for in these levels on this pullback for price to give us the setup to go to the downside, back down towards this support level. All right. So I'm looking for this on CAD JPY. GBP AUD. All right. If we look at GBP AUD GA on the weekly, price had big moves to the downside, but now we're at major levels of demand. Looking to the left, this is where price had a strong move away, major demand level, right? So you see here on the weekly, price is forming this big pin bar rejection, all right? So overall, to me, it's looking like all weakness might be happening this week. I'm looking at all the correlating factors, and it's looking like that the unemployment, the rates could help us with that. But it's looking like some all weakness because all is at a make or break level. All has been strong, all right, but now it's looking like it's at a point where we could potentially see a correction, all right, across the board. All right, so if we look at this here, price found support at this level of demand, but it's been in the downtrend. So if we look to the left, we can see lower highs, right, and lower lows. So in order for this shift to happen, price needs to break structure. Price hasn't broke structure yet. All right, this still could potentially be a sell setup before any more buys. All right, but if you want to know if this is going to be a reversal, price really needs to break this lower high structure. This is like lower high right here. If price comes up and breaks that lower high, then that's the sign that the trend is reversing. All right, the trend is reversing. So now you catch those pullbacks, possibly retest, and you look for the continuations to the upside. All right, but as of right now, price, the trend is not reversed. Has not reversed. Excuse me. So price could still possibly give another wave down before the reversal. If price starts to have a strong rejection here, it could possibly have a move down before we get any more moves to the upside. And lastly, gold. Gold has been pumping. Well, last week started pumping. All right, there are some times that you will see gold pump when the dollar's pumping too, even though usually they're inverse. But if I look at gold on the weekly, you can see prices basically retesting that strong bearish close, last bearish candle close that it had, right? So it's retesting that. So gold is at an interesting level to start this week. So if I look at it, look to the left, this is at a level where price had a top and sold off. So I will be watching this level. Go down to the 1 hour. All right, you can see it more clear. This is a level. So if price comes up and forms some type of a bearish rejection, see right here, it had like a wick rejection, then like a bearish engulfing. If it forms some type of bearish price action from this level holding, then we could look for a potential sell back down towards the bottom of this range. All right. But if price was to break through here, the chances are it's going to reach this top level of supply, right, before it has any sell to the downside. All right, because I would look at this top level as of supply for potential areas as well, right, for potential area of selling pressure. All right, so we have to see what price shows us going into this week. I'll end it with gold. I hope that helps. Be on the lookout for more content, consistent content and videos, especially when it comes to these sessions. These sessions alone, if you tap in, you just react to what price is showing you. Keep it simple with price action. All right. And then everybody, we all should be able to catch pips. Be sure to tap in to the free Telegram. The free Telegram, it's going to be in the bio. Everything is going to be in the bio. So you're going to be able to find it there. And if you're in VIP, be on the lookout for more sessions and everything this week. And let's lock in. Let's catch these pips.